Today, we're going to talk about one way that you can control your loud auction crowd. Now, this is a topic that comes up a lot with my clients. And a few years ago, I wrote a blog post, which I will link to in the show notes because it's really good. It goes through all of the ways to control a loud crowd. I'm going to cover this blog post in really a couple, maybe even 3 different videos. Today, I'm going to specifically talk about what I call podium leadership. Podium leadership not only serves to control a loud room, but it's also, well, I should say it's one of the ways that you should use to control a loud room. It's not, using this alone will not do it, but it's one way to do it. But it's also something that really will elevate your event. Just like when you walk into a nice home and it's got upgraded fixtures and better finishings and so forth, you can just tell a little bit more thought was made in the choices. This technique is going to make your event just a little bit better. It's not that anyone will necessarily notice it or know what is making it nicer, but it certainly makes a big difference in the way that it's perceived. So I'm going to cover that right now. So I printed out the blog post, but again, I'm just going to focus on one of these. Leadership from the stage. You know, I got here. I'm going to show you something. I've got a dress right here. This is not tied to the topic at all, but it was very disruptive of my auction this past Saturday. So I'm working a big school auction and I'm wearing this dress, right? Wearing this dress. And on the side, the zipper is all the way up the side. I'm being introduced to go on stage. He's like 3 sentences of a bio. And I'm like, what the heck is down? What's going on down here? My zipper broke, the whole thing. So here's the zipper you see from up here to down here, this little thing here. This zipper, I couldn't even zip it up and down and it didn't even work. See how it looks like it's zipped, but whoop, wide open. I spent the auction with my arm down by my side. So for an hour, I was up there doing that. That has nothing to do with a loud crowd, but it's sitting here ready to go to the dry cleaner so that the gal there can fix it. Okay, let's talk about podium leadership. Right now, we're doing a lot of school auctions. Probably about half of them are religious of some sort. Most of the time when we're doing those, and you can apply this to your own auction, most of the time we are doing a flow that is something like father gets up and quiets the room because he's doing the prayer before they eat. Then we have like maybe the board president or the parents association president get up on stage, and that person usually introduces the gala co-chairs, and then it's the auction. Now, not always, sometimes it's not like right up at the front. Sometimes father gets up there, they do the prayer, and then they have a 30-minute window while they serve the food. It really depends on what kind of an event you got going on and all of that. So the flow is going to shift a little bit depending on your event, but what I'm about to share with you, you can use it any type of flow. So typically what we want to see happen is that the person who is at the podium is setting the stage up for success for the next person. And the way that you set the stage for success is you maintain control of the audience and what's happening. I know, I was talking about this with a client from North Carolina this morning. I know that if I'm in a room at an event, whatever event, not necessarily an auction, but I'm just saying any event, wedding, whatever, and it doesn't feel like I know what's happening next, I start to get annoyed. I'm like a type A person and I'm like, this is so disorganized. What's going on? You want to educate your guests as to what's going to happen and what you expect of your guests. Because once you tell your guests what they expect, okay, you're in control. I'm up on stage telling them what I expect. That's why I teach them how to bid. You tell your audience what you want out of them, so then the parameters are built. And so from that standpoint, we want to do the same with every speaker on that stage, the podium leadership. So let me give you an example of that. Father gets up, he's doing the prayer. Now, what we don't want him to do at the end of the prayer is just walk off the stage. We don't want him to just say bon appetit and leave. We don't want him to just say have a good night and leave. We want him, if in fact these are back to back, we want him to properly introduce the PA president. So as he gets started, he might, again, people generally get quiet for father. If not, they certainly get quiet once the prayer starts, but usually they're getting quieter a little bit before that. He might say, hey, in a second here, we're going to do the invocation. But then right after that, I'm going to be bringing up Joe, who's our board president. He and Ellen have been parishioners for many years. They've had 6 kids go to the school here. We're so appreciative of Joe and his leadership at this time. Well, with that, let's go ahead and give grace. That could be one way of doing it. If the president isn't going to come up for another 30 minutes because you're going to do your dinner service, he can say that at that time. He can say, hey, folks, we're going to do the invocation right now. I want to make sure that you understand, though, we're going to give you 30 minutes to chat. Meet your neighbor. Get caught up. But then in 30 minutes, after the entrees are served, Joe's going to come up here, our board president, beloved, love Joe. He's been a great leader for the board the last couple of years. He's going to come up here and start the program in about 30 minutes. So with that, let's get started. In the name of the Father, whatever. So they have that expectation, they meaning the guests, have that expectation of what's going to be happening. So let's say then, Father brings up Joe immediately. So he's going to conclude, right? He's like, thank you. Go ahead and get started on your salads. And with that, help me welcome to the stage, Joe, our board president. So then Joe comes up on stage, Father's leading the crowd. Thank you very much. Now Father leaves, but Joe's now in command of the audience, podium leadership. So what does Joe do? Well, Joe probably maybe talks about some of the initiatives that the board's been working on. And one of the best ways that you can fund some of these initiatives and support the school is through this auction. And he might say, Ellen and I, Father said we have 6 kids who've gone through this school. I think, Ellen, what did we figure out? This is our 22nd auction, our 22nd school auction. What amazes me every year is that we have great gala chairs who step up. They're volunteers, but yet they pour their heart and soul and creativity into these wonderful galas. It's just a fabulous night. Every time we come, we're just so impressed. And this year has been no different. So with that, let's give a rousing thank you to our 2 co-chairs this year, Tammy and Teresa. Come on up, Tammy and Teresa, right? So now we're bringing Tammy and Teresa up. Maybe Joe gives them a little gift, flowers, whatever the case might be, but he is now relinquishing control of that podium to Tammy and Teresa. Tammy and Teresa are up there. What are they going to talk about? Well, they're probably going to thank their committee, right? They may have them stand, call out a few people, whatever the case might be. And then they might even say why they got involved. Tammy might say, I've been a gala co-chair for 2 years. And, we've had several kids go through the school, but this is my first time at the auction. But man, I've really loved it. I've gotten to meet so many new people over the last 2 years. I've learned so much about auctions and events, and it's been a lot of fun. Boy, really think about participating in the auction committee next year. You know what I like about that? Tammy is setting up the stage. She's doing podium leadership for the entire next year for the auction to get people on the committee. That goes a long way. So that's good too. We're not just like thanking the committee and going on, but she's actually setting the stage. It's been a great experience. You should get involved too. Now, what does Teresa say? Well, maybe this is Teresa's first. It's my first year at the school. I've never even participated in an auction before. This is my first one, just like some of you. It's been great. And Tammy, it's been wonderful working with you. Great leadership. Folks, and this is how I like it to close out. Folks, we're going to be raising our hand to support the school. We hope to see your hand in the air as well. Something like that. Folks, we're going to be supporting the school. We've been supporting the school for 9 months since we planned this auction, and it doesn't even stop yet. It doesn't stop until our hands are in there, until everybody's helping one another, because we know that this school is great. We want to keep it great. We want these kids to have the best education they can. Our hands are going to be in the air. Join us in that support. Now, why do I like that? Frankly, Joe could say that too. The point being is that I, as the auctioneer, am certainly going to encourage people to bid. And I've got all kinds of tricks to do that. But I'm paid to do that. I'm paid to get people to bid. I'm paid to get people to donate. So I think that when people hear me say it, it's not nearly as impactful as when Tammy and Teresa say it, or when Joe says it. I don't think it's nearly as impactful when the development director says it. Because the development director, even if the development director has kids at the school, the development director is technically paid to get people to give. So anytime you can have a volunteer say, hey, we're going to be giving, we hope that you give too. We're going to see your hands in the air, right? Yeah, we're going to see your hands in the air. We put a lot of work into this. Don't let us down now. That is setting the expectation for the evening that we're here to make some money. We're going to have fun, but we're going to raise some money. And then when I go up on stage, well, I'm certainly going to say that in a lot of different ways, but that set the stage then for me to come up. So now they turn the tension. We're going to raise our hand. We hope to see your hand in the air too. And with that, so excited to have back with us this year, Sherry of Red Apple Auctions. So then I come up on stage, and as I was on Saturday, my dress is pinned on the side with one safety pin. And meanwhile, you're looking at my bra strap between it. Unbelievable. Can't believe it. Jeez. Can't believe it. All right. Anyway, that is what we like to see. Now, when it's my turn to introduce someone, I do the same thing, right? I'm bringing up a guest speaker, maybe for the mission moment. We're just taking care as we hand off the microphone, right? Even I might have my own microphone. There's a microphone over there at the podium, but we're taking care and concern in how we do that. That's why it's like the little finishing touches. It's the little upgrades in the house that make the difference versus someone, this is what I hate, someone saying, ding, 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 ding. I just need your attention for a minute. We just need your, folks, I just need your attention for a minute, which is a huge lie. Huge lie. We don't need their attention for a minute. We need their attention for an hour. So don't even tell them a minute. We're going to piss off our audience. If you keep shushing your audience, what a great way to make your audience angry at you. I don't like to shush my crowd. I usually tell my audience there's 2 times that I need their full attention. One at the very beginning, and the second time is later on when I'm introducing the guest speaker for the paddle race. That's usually the only time I like to quiet the crowd. I don't mind if they're loud. One of my auctioneers who does work with me, he's like, man, I do not know how you stand that, because it drives him crazy. He's like, they're just so loud. I'm like, look, this is the way it is. They paid their $150. They're coming for a party. You shush them too many times like they're a kindergartner, and they're going to turn against you. You don't want to shush the crowd all the time. So there's lots of different ways that I will say they need to be quiet without telling them they need to be quiet. But the point being that we don't want to just say, we need your attention for a minute, just 1 minute. No, we don't. So please, in your silent auction, during the reception, hold the people that are speaking together and just say, Father, could you please do a nice introduction and bring Joe up to the stage with an applause? Father will do that. Talk to your Joe then, your PA president, whoever it is. Joe, we need you to introduce your gala co-chair. Can you please welcome them to the stage? Let's bring them up with a big round of applause. So much appreciation to our gala co-chairs. All of that will work just fine, and it'll elevate your event, and it helps to control the audience, because now the audience knows you're in control. This is how it's rolling from the stage. There's, again, a lot of other ways to help control a loud crowd. I'm going to cover those in another video, though. But this is an important point, and just the language itself makes a difference, I think, for your event. Please subscribe if you found this video helpful. Maybe you didn't, but if you did, I would appreciate a like, maybe a share, a subscribe, whatever the case might be. And if you're looking for additional details, I'm looking back here because I thought I had my auction item guide out, but I don't. The auction item guide is a very popular resource on my website that you can sign up for as well. It's the top 100 items that I sold in benefit auctions I worked last year around the country. Real items, fully described. You get all the goodies there. As always, good luck to you in your fundraising auction. Bye.